The face you make when you realize you bought 1,000 burner attempts. Hey everybody, it's GetMoneyMyrick here, and in today's video I'm going to be discussing how I was able to beat Defier without a Starwing Jahra. Now, before I go any further, there is something I want to get out there, and I want to make sure it's very clear, which is I'm going to basically say that if you don't have a Starwing Jahra, you probably shouldn't be doing this just yet. This was a miserable experience, and I just wanted to get that out of the way up front because I wasn't sure how difficult it was going to be. I'd heard some people say, oh yeah, you just smash through 3, 2, Defier 2, and then it gets a little tough, and then you have to spend some gems rerolling planets. And then on the other end of the spectrum, I've heard of people struggling that have Starwing Jahra and beating Defier. So I was really curious how it would go. So I'm going to break that down for you all. This was a ton of footage that I started with. I had about 4 to 5 hours of footage I could be working with. And instead of really showing you guys too much footage, I'm just going to discuss like what I learned, how it went, try to talk you out of doing it, or tell you why you may still want to go and attempt doing this clear. I'll also be discussing the heroes we used. And I also want to give a giant thank you up at the top of the video because actually Joon got on and helped us and finished this run for me because I was being so miserable and I had to go get my kids. So we'll have some commentary and some footage from Joon within this video as well. So it is just a heck of an experience. And if you saw that intro with 1,000 burners, it was just a ride. Like, this was just nuts. And I wanted to make sure I was clear about my thoughts about how difficult it was to clear Defier without a Starwing Jahra. I did also want to say that if you're not subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. These videos take a lot of my time, and the #1 way you can support me is by hitting that like, hitting that subscribe button. I know it's cliche, but I would really appreciate it. Only 30% of you watching this video are actually subscribed. So please, if you're one of those 70 that's not subscribed, just go ahead and hit it. It costs you nothing and it makes my day. I wanted to start by talking about this guide from Jay the Great 33, which is posted to the Idle Heroes subreddit 9 days ago from the time of filming this video. And they do a great job explaining which lineup they use. They give shout outs to Impeccable, who is also in the Idle Heroes Discord page, and Vortex. They helped me out a lot too with the lineups they used. And you can see that they have 3 level 100 star spawns. And I think that that is going to be a big difference in attempts here between whether or not you have these star spawns or not. Because while they were able to do it in 23k gems, I'll also say at the top, I was able to do it in a way with 20k gems. And we'll get into that in just a second. So it's definitely possible, okay? Especially using this lineup, but it was miserable. So we used a team that was very similar to what Jay the Great used and what Typical recommends. This is not actually the hero bag we used. I didn't have a good job because it was a live stream breaking down exactly what heroes I used. But we did use a V4 SFX. We used a V3 Halora. We used a V3 Rogan with speed. We ended up using a V3 Drake with speed because we wanted them to get faster so that that helped our Halora kill heroes. We used a V3 Amun-Ra, and we used an Ignis, an E5 Ignis, to energy feed the SFX for round 2. As I mentioned with Drake, we started off with them being slower than SFX, but we actually had to get speed on them. And with Ignis, we would bounce back and forth between whether or not we had Unbending Will or not, because I found that a lot of times you could get it so that you would energy feed with 2 Splendid Demon Bells by having them on Scarlet Queen Halora and Rogan, and so that would get an active round 1 for SFX, and then Ignis would give them an active with their energy, with her active, to SFX for round 2, and then with Unbending Will, a lot of times Ignis could survive until round 3, and you could get another active off with Shia. What I did not realize with Swordflesh Shia is just how important it is to be triggering this impeccable flow. The #1 tip that I want to make clear to you all is that if you are attempting this without Starwing Jahra, what you really want to concentrate on is getting a stack of impeccable flow on your Swordflesh Shia. In order to do that, you have to kill a hero in round 1. So you want to be killing carries, you want to be killing Drakes, whoever the lowest HP hero is that she's targeting, and you need to try and kill them in round 1. And when you do that, that will trigger Impeccable Flow and make the skill target all enemies, so then round 2 you can just destroy the enemy lineups. So when you're watching your fights, that is the big deal. Is my Swordflesh Shia able to kill the heroes in round 1? And in order to do that, what you want to be using is a Holy Damage attack stone. That stone's really going to make a big difference. Even the imprints, even putting some precision on your Swordflash Zia, we saw Joon doing that. You really just want to be hitting carries and you want to be knocking them out so that your round 2 active is hitting all the enemies and you're wiping them. And we were able to use this lineup with pretty good success up through Defier 4, I would say. There were definitely some rerolls that we wanted to do just against difficult lineups. But then Defier 3 and Defier 2, it definitely started to get really tough to get that first round kill, and the enemies had a lot more HP. You also want to be making sure that you're always using void signets. You need void protection on every single planet. So they recommend that you start with 35 to 40 signets. I didn't have any big issues. You may need to save a few extras for Sector 1 because you might want to roll like Dark or Forest to help you out there. So hopefully you get lucky. Hopefully you have those and you can use them within Defier 1 to help boost your team a little bit. But you are going to want to always be re-rolling for that void protection, for that transcendence protection on every single planet. That is a big part of this strategy. Once I got to Defier 2, as I mentioned, it became super difficult. It was just a giant struggle. And we were re-rolling planets, we were making attempts. Obviously by this point, it was the point where I'd already bought 1,000 burners. So from that intro, I meant to buy 100, I bought 1,000. And I will tell you that we ended up using 500 of those ones that we bought. And so the total run cost was about 20,000 gems, but I actually spent 30,000 gems because I'm an awful human being that wastes people's gems. Don't ever let me borrow your accounts because I will do something stupid like that to him. But I'm going to say that we cleared it with 20,000. And when I say, you know, oh, we cleared it with 20,000 and we didn't have Starwing Jahra, you're going to think this isn't that hard. It was very hard. It was not fun. And I would say if you're going to be the type of person that is going to attempt this, you need to plan on starting the attempt on the first day that Void Vortex is out and giving yourself a ton of time and a ton of patience and a ton of gems. Because what ended up happening is I was streaming this and I gave myself 2.5 hours to finish it, and we got to one planet left in Defier 2 and I just could not clear it. It was just really bad, and luckily at that moment Joon got on and he took over the account and he was able to finish it up, but I think it took him about another 2 hours of streaming it. And what he actually ended up doing, I am not kidding, is this account that we had actually had a second Staff Puncher the Immortal, and he put that on Halora so that he could energy feed with 2 heroes going faster than Halora, get a crit and a giant damage boost from Halora with the Staff Puncher, and then that would allow Swordflash Zia to get Impeccable flow by killing with the other second Staff Punishers. So this clear took 2 Staff Punishers, 4.5 hours, 2 content creators, insights from Typical and from CTV, who's also been crushing a lot of Defier clears, but most of them with Starwing Jahra. And it was tough. It was dumb tough. It was not fun. So I'm out here spreading the news that it is possible. If we didn't have that second Staff Punisher, I mean, we're talking 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s of attempts on planets just trying to get lucky. Like even with the second Staff Punisher, it's like you need the crit from the Halora to go through, and you need the crit from Swordflash Zia to go through in order to kill the carry and then stack the Impeccable flow and get the active in round 2. So it was very difficult. I cannot stress that enough. I think if you have more star spawns, it's going to be easier. I think as Celestial Island rolls out these changes and we can buff our heroes, it's going to get easier. I would say if you're the kind of person that has a ton of patience and a ton of gems and a lot of good artifacts, you're welcome to go ahead and attempt it. But for the vast majority of players that, you know, they think, oh, I've got 1 Staff Punisher and I've got 8 Demon Bells and I've got a Halora and I've got a Swordflash Zia, let me go ahead and try it. Just be prepared. Like, it was tough. We did it. It was only 20,000 gems. So I'm just trying to share all of that information. Obviously, there's tons of resources out there that you can reach out to and get more help, like the Idle Heroes Vortex channel. But it was very tough. If you are interested in any of the footage from the fights, you can check me out on twitch.tv/GetMoneyMyrick. That was recorded on August 8th. So if you want to check out my VODs from August 8th, you can check it out there. You can also make sure that you check out Joon, and if you're not following him on Twitch, go ahead and do that. It'll be his second VOD from that day because he actually signed back in and started streaming again in order to help us clear this. So even when I'm saying I cleared it, It's like I didn't clear it. This was definitely a community project. Giant thank you again to Joon. And I do actually have some match footage. I know I said I'd try to keep it short, but this is actual match footage of Joon clearing Defier of the Void Vortex on this account. We did it, but it was tough, and I wanted to get the word out there. And hopefully you found this video helpful. Like I said, let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if you want to see any specific footage. But I will see you on my next video. And this was just a completely insane run, and I wasn't really sure how to edit it all together. So this is what you got. Money asked me to step in and finish this account. It's so easy. I'm just going to skip Defier here. I'm not even going to react because I just do this every day. Greatest Idle Heroes content creator. Compare that to here now. After we've been struggling a little, I'll just take any kind of moment I can have because this is miserable. Let's see what SFX does here after we've got the kill. Oh, I'm so nervous, but I'm the greatest Idle Heroes content creator. Money's gonna give me 5 subs. Oh man, come on. We can do it. We can do it. Please, please. Yes. Yes, I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest. Yes. Come on. Yo. Yo, 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 yo. We're so good. I'm the best. Coming in. SFX got the kill. This could be it, guys. Let's see what happens. Oh my gosh, please. This is so much harder than I thought it would be. This is it, right? Yo, I'm so good at this game. All you need is a second staff Punisher on a Scarlet Queen Halora like everybody has, and we can do it. Money's gonna give me those 5 subs. Hey, I'm so good. So much better than Money.